Dashboards like these will impress any audience. They drive insight, they build credibility, and they make your reporting actually enjoyable to consume. Most people never get here because they make 3 crucial mistakes. I know because I made all of them when I first started my accounting firm 6 years ago. So in this video, I'm gonna fix all of that so that by the end, you'll know exactly how to make your dashboards look clear, professional, and executive ready. And if you want to skip the tutorial and get access to these dashboards connected to your data, you can try our tool, Model Wiz, entirely for free. More on that later. Let's first jump to mistake number 1. So here's a profit and loss, and here's a balance sheet, as well as a statement of cash flows. Now, each of these reports were exported from my accounting software, and these are some really important reports. In fact, these 3 reports are the most commonly requested reports for anything financially related about a business. But this is a mistake that most people make, and I know this because I made this mistake myself. This is what they end up sending to a client. And there are so many issues with doing this. First, this isn't really a dashboard. This is just an export of a report. Many of the founders that I work with don't even know how to read a profit and loss, let alone a balance sheet or a statement of cash flows. And if they did, it becomes really difficult to understand the story behind these numbers because there's so much data. It's just data overwhelm. You're not really guiding the viewer into what's important and what actions they need to take. Now notice the difference with this report over here. Well, here I grouped all of my expenses into just these 5 categories, and I could see the information throughout the entire year in a much nicer format. And I can see that from my income statement, balance sheet, and cash flows. So already I'm reducing a lot of the clutter that comes from my old report that looks like this, and instead starting with a more summarized or condensed report that looks like this. Now, this isn't just for the sake of my clients. What I love about this is I could actually do my analysis starting at this summarized view because I don't need to analyze each and every single line item on my chart of accounts. As I start at a macro level, if something looks off, I could then dig deeper into seeing what do these accounts make up, or maybe even what are the transactions that make up this variance. Now, this is just one way that we can prevent that data overwhelm that we spoke about. There are tons of other dashboard designs that I could showcase to illustrate this, like this KPI dashboard as such. And this really only showcases 8 of the most important metrics for my business. Now, if I wanted to, I could add a bunch more metrics and a bunch more comparisons, which we'll do shortly. But there's something that this KPI dashboard does that also applies to the dashboards that you see over here that is crucial to include really in any dashboard. And that brings me to mistake number 2. Let me show you what I mean by showcasing my favorite report of all time. And that, of course, is the budget versus actuals. So you can see over here all of my key accounts and my budget and my actual amount, as well as the dollar and percentage variance. Now, there are so many things that are wrong with this view over here. Sure, it gives me all the data that I need, but it's really unenjoyable to consume. My eyes are in pain just looking at this. And if we flip back to that earlier set of dashboards, well, this is a little bit better, but it's really not that different. It's just one simple color, there's no visual hierarchy, and it's not enjoyable to consume. Well, let's change that with this budget versus actuals. Over here, you can see that now I have a proper title and I can understand the actual period that this relates to. And now I created some spacing between some key sections, and I also bolded the information over here. But most importantly, I also have number formatting. So this is a normal number. I can see in parentheses if it is a minus, and then I have the percentages formatted over here. Now, again, compare that to this view. It's already starting to look better, but we can still do better than this. In this view over here, now I started implementing another of other design components. First, I have these really neat borders over here. I have a different background color over here for my title, and then a different background color over here to match to my brand's logo. Now, if you want to know how to quickly create a color scheme out of your brand's colors, I'm going to open up this Windows app called Power Toys. I'm going to click on Color Picker, and now I'm on my website and I can see the actual colors. So I'm going to choose this as my primary color over here, and now I'm going to go to this website, coolers.co. Now, watch what I'm going to do. I'm just going to click this button to copy this actual hex code, and I'm going to replace the hex code over here. So now if I hit space, I'm getting a bunch of other colors that are consistent with this color over here. And I can continue this process by going back to my website. And if I want, I could also choose this color right here. And let's then change this. And then when I lock it, I can continue clicking space. So now all these colors go well with each other. So what I like to do is design my dashboards around this color palette to match my brand's themes. But there's one more thing that I could do to really make this pop out, and that involves adding these beautiful donut charts over here. So this is just one of the many charts that Excel has to offer. And what I love about this is I could instantly understand the 4 most important metrics that I want to guide the user towards. And I can see how yellow shading represents a miss, whereas this dark gray shading represents a savings. Now, this isn't the only dashboard where I have these design components. Again, going back to this KPI dashboard, look at how much the formatting and styling actually guides the user to understand what's happening. First, we have special number formatting over here in order to help us understand the value. Anything above 100,000 gets this K. In negative, we have these parentheses. We have a percentage over here and a comma for anything less than 100,000. We also have these pluses and minuses for the variances. I have red for bad variances and green for good variances. And this is a huge mistake that I see people make with financial reporting. They think, I'm an accountant. I only care about the numbers. Why should I care about the design? Don't forget that we are creatures of design. We like to wear clothing that looks a certain way. We like to eat food that is prepared a certain way. And similarly, we like to enjoy dashboards that also look a certain way. But while each of these dashboards are an improvement, if you're missing this last part, you're going to be setting yourself up for so much extra work and most likely upset stakeholders who you'll present this to. All right, so back to our properly formatted summary financial statements. Notice when I click into each of these cells, I really have a hard-coded value over here. I'm also only showing the values from January through October for all 3 of these financial statements. What happens if my client wants to understand how this compares to last year, or what the future is going to look like, or what's an actual and what's a projection? Well, we can't really do that because this value is static. None of it is dynamic. And again, going back to our export from our accounting software, all of these values are static. I would have to regenerate this from my accounting software each time that I get a question. When now look at this dashboard, instead of just showing things on a monthly basis, I also have my data analyzed for year to date and trailing 12 months. I could also understand information on an annual, as well as a quarterly basis, and I have a divider where I could understand what is an actual and what is a projection. And the beauty is that all this information is pulled directly from this drivers tab over here. So watch what happens if I just change this to a 300,000, and I'll just delete this value over here. When I go back to my summary financials, you can see that value is referring directly to that drivers tab. Now, this drivers tab was generated actually directly from our tool, Model Wiz. And it's pretty neat the way that it works. See, it's an Excel add-in that once you connect your QuickBooks Online account will allow you to generate a financial model or any of the beautiful dashboards that you see here really in just a matter of seconds. We'll handle all of the formatting, connecting all of the cells differently, and then each month you can refresh by just hitting this roll forward button. We'll detect any new accounts and roll forward your books with simply the click of a button. Now, this is the tool that I wish I had whenever I started my accounting firm 6 years ago, which is why we've been developing it this whole time, and I'm really excited to share it with you. Now, if you're an accounting firm, I actually want to chat with you and introduce you to our Accounting Firm Insiders program, where you'll get special discounts and hands-on support from me and my team to make your dashboards come to life with our tool. Go ahead and check us out at modelwiz.com. All right, let's now get back to this dynamic dashboard. So I already showed you how I can showcase now any period. Let's say if I wanted to show year-to-date numbers, well, I can just now select all of these other columns. And now I have a year-to-date summary of my P&L, balance sheet, and statement of cash flows. But again, if I wanted to change that to, let's say, only show 2026 and how that compares against 2025, well, once again, I can just hide these columns. And now I have another view. But it really goes so much beyond that. Because this dashboard is dynamic, I can now compare a current period versus my budget or prior period or prior year, again, across my profit and loss, balance sheet, and cash flows. But what I love is I could also just toggle. So instead of this month, let's say I want to look at this quarter. And now my values will update to show Q3 versus Q2 and Q3 2024, again, across my income statement, balance sheet, and cash flows. And the same thing with this KPI dashboard, I can just check off these buttons over here And once again, I can just change for any period, showing, let's say, a year to date, and all of the values will automatically update. So by keeping my dashboards dynamic, now the viewers could easily understand any time period, any metric, or any view of their data as they update it in real time. Now, if you made it this far in the video, it's clear that you're really serious about your financial reporting, and learning how to build a 3-statement model may be one of the most valuable skill sets that you can add to your career. Lucky for you, I break that all down in this video over here. So go ahead and check that out. And while you're at it, give this video a like if you enjoyed it. I'm Josh, your CFO guy, and I'll catch you in the next one.